Right, 24 hours before the race. Very excited, can't wait to get going. First decent race of the year. First race of the year, I should say. Yeah, really looking forward to it. The only downside is the weather, sadly. Getting some gale force winds in tonight, rolling through tomorrow. Where the forecast is changing a bit, it's kind of those gusts of wind may or may not be around the time of the race, but if they're not, it's still 20+ mile/hour winds. And the problem is with the Lliswerry 8 and any other race that goes on around those similar lanes, Magor 10, the Rose in Race Series, they're so exposed. The wind is brutal there anyway, so the slightest wind everywhere else is magnified there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The wind's going to hit us for a lot of the race, so just going to have to go out there tomorrow, put a good effort in. I feel good, training's been going well, so yeah, I can't complain. We'll give it a good go tomorrow, that's for sure. Alright, so shakeout run done. It is now 4:07 on Saturday, so later on this afternoon. Let's go through a very quick kit check before we go and what I'm going to take and everything. We'll start this side with the non-kit stuff. So we've got 2 drink mixes. I'll have one tonight, one in the morning. Always do that, just something that I always do. My little Rode lapel mic, which I'm using right now. GoPro Insta360, so this will be the head cam. This will be filming the other bits and pieces around it to save the battery on both of them. Polar OH1 arm heart rate monitor. I always get asked about that. It's been superseded by the Verity Sense or whatever it's called, but this one's still working for me, so that's fine. Sub whatever Say Sky socks. Pure Sport muscle balm for after the race. That's the balm. Freeze roll for before, so there's that. And then sub whatever Say Sky singlet, we're going to go with that. Last time I went out of Battersea Park and had a choice of the kit because I wasn't being sponsored for the training series, I chose Source stuff. This time I'm going Say Sky. Combat shorts, going for the darker colour because every time you race in the combat shorts and you sweat, it looks like you peed yourself, so I'm going for the darker colour so you can't see that so much. Ben Park's hat for me to clip the Insta360 onto. Those two are not coming with me and they're wondering what the heck I'm doing. The reason that I'm not wearing my club vest is because it's such thick material. It's not the best cut either, but I find that I can wear it in the winter, and last year I wore it, but if there's any chance of rain, this thing soaks up the rain so badly, so I'm just not going to risk it tomorrow. And then, so that's why I'm in the Say Sky ones, just a cheap pair of gloves. And I'm going to go with the Next Percent 2. So I do not want to wear my Next Percent version ones or my Endorphin Elites. Those are two, like my A and B goal race shoes. They have got 89 miles, I think, in the Next Percent ones and 78 in the Endorphin Elites. So I'm using up whatever else I have here. I was going to use the Vaporfly 3s. I've left them in the office. So these are the next best thing. I did toy with the idea of using the Pumas. They're in the office. The only other racing shoe I have here is the Adios Pro 3. I've already raced in that one. And the other one I have is the On Cloud Boom Echo 3. But as I'm using that for a training shoe, I'm just going to get these out. They've got about 40 odd miles in them, so still pretty darn fresh. Not a massive fan of the Vaporfly 2s just because of the upper and the foam tweak, but it's still a good choice of race shoe. I've raced in it a lot, so I'm sure it will still do a good job. So that's what we're going to be taking tomorrow. I'm going to get this all packed up. I'll see you in the morning. There we go, made it here in plenty of time for a change. I'm always late to a race, but it's 6:45, so just picked up my number. So it looks to be 6:42, and yeah, it was quite a smooth drive down. So I was prepared yesterday, you saw the clip. I feel relatively good today, but my word, it is windy. It is really flipping windy. The forecast is about 20-mile-an-hour winds with some stronger gusts perhaps. It definitely feels like that out there already. So I'm just going to sit and chill in the car for probably 3/4 of an hour, get out of the car at 8:30, get all my kit ready now, as in pin my bib to my vest, get myself ready, get out there at 8:30, do a warm-up and then get straight into the race. But I'm going to stay in here where it's warm. Okay, so it's 8:30, so ready to rock and roll now. Just going to get out there, get a warm-up done and get to the start line. So race plan. I did have a race plan. It's pretty much gone out the window with this wind. It's just going to be about pushing where I can and holding back a little bit in the wind so that I can feel strong when the wind is behind me or to the side of me and not slapping me in the face. I'm sure everyone out there today is going to be in exactly the same situation. So yeah, let's take this top off, get out there for a warm-up, get to the start line.
Good one, mate.
Quality, my friend.
Right, well done.
What's your name?
Right.
You're amazing. What a kick. Well done, mate. Wow, absolutely incredible. 43.17 on the watch. I think I stopped it a bit late, but if it's around there, I am buzzing. That is 5.22 or 5.23 per mile, and that wind was absolutely savage. I'll give you a race debrief shortly, but my word, I am absolutely over the moon with that. All right, so back at the car, armed with my Coke and salt and vinegar crisps, because that's what I'm going to devour on the way home. Wow, what a race. Can't believe that. If I'm completely honest with you, that's all just synced to Strava, so let's have a look at it. First of all, massive shout out to Lliswerry runners for putting that event on. It's such a good race. The conditions out there today, the wind. I was trying to work out before the race, I was like, right, it's a tailwind. It's a tailwind on the first bit. We should have a headwind from like miles 3 round to 6, and on the last bit home, we should have it back behind us. No way, it did not disappear. It was absolutely horrific. So I genuinely have no idea how, if I'm honest with you, I pulled that off. And there's a few shout outs I need to give. I'm going to be honest with you, that blew me out of the water. I think on a good day I'd be in sort of like low to mid 520 shape without the winds. So with the wind coming in today, I'm like just going to run strong, which is what I did, run strong and then just see what I can do. And I ran low 520, so average pace 522 per mile. I'm just, yeah, okay, so let's go through this race blow by blow. Massive great job to the marshals as well, they were fantastic. And I really do recommend this race if you ever get a chance to do it. It's a great way to start the year. So we start off, 5:22 was the first mile, having a look at it here. And I would just kind of like started 3 rows back and just kind of feel my way into it. I knew I wanted to go out relatively strong this time rather than start too far back. But I like to sit back and watch packs form and see what happens, see where I can slot myself in rather than being right at the front and then people sit behind me. Bit selfish, I know, but it's the best way to race because you kind of conserve a bit at the start and you finish strong at the end. 5:18 and 5:19 were the next 2 and 3 miles, and that's where I was just kind of moving up a couple of people, and that's where we had the wind kind of behind us, and I was feeling quite strong at that point. I think average pace on my watch when I looked was around 5:20, 5:21, so I was thinking, wow, this is hot, but I feel good. I feel really, really good. But be honest with you, I did glance at my heart rate and it was high already, so I thought, oh, this is gonna be a tough day. Came round the corner and that's when we started to hit the wind. So we had a 5:23 along the top straight, and then as we curved around another bit, we had a 5:24, and that's where I started to find myself not necessarily in no man's land, but I was working with 1 or 2 people here or there. So from miles 3 to 4 I was working with a I think it's Pontypridd rodent. I was working with one chap there, and then I said I'd take the lead. He sat behind me for a bit and then I pulled away, and then basically I could see another Pontypridd rodent in front who was a hero, which we'll come to in a minute. I think his name was Di, he said. And yeah, wow, he was incredible. I caught up to him around 5-ish miles, I think it was, and that was a 5:24, and then we worked together at that point. The wind was really strong. We were chatting as well. That next 6 mile was 5:28, so that was the slowest mile, but that was good to get things under control. We were chatting and he was like I took the lead and then he took the lead, and then I ran a 5:23 in the 7th mile, and that's because he retook the lead and said follow me. Like, he had some in the tank. So he was training, when we were talking out there, he was saying to me that he was training for an ultra, the Brecken's Cardiff Ultra, in 2 weeks time, and I could see his strength and endurance, because in that last 2 miles when I was really pushing, he just had another gear. He just had another gear, and I just sat on him as much as I could, and at 6.5 miles I said to him, mate, I haven't got it. I'm hanging on for dear life. I'm really sorry, I can't go back round you. He said, it's all right, don't worry, just hang on. And he kept pushing, and yeah, it was a 5:23 for the 7th mile, and then a 5:19 for the last mile. I can't believe that. And even at that point, right, in that last mile, we come off the main loop into the finishing straight, and I hear this Alpha Fly thud behind me, and a Swansea Harrier comes charging past. Your name forgets me, mate, and if you're watching this, he said to me at the end, that's 1-1, mate, do you remember Magor? So at Magor, I beat him, and today he beat me. He's a wonderful chap, and he was in good shape. He said he was ill last week, so it was good to come out there. He's a fast lad. So he went past me, and I think Di at the end, I think maybe, I'm not sure if he got him or not, but I just basically held strong. I was just like keeping 3 runners ahead of me in a line, and just like, don't drop off. And those lads at the end kept me going. If they weren't there, I would have dropped off massively, and I genuinely can't believe I finished with a 5:19. Like, second fastest mile of the race, or second joint fastest mile. Unbelievable. Over the moon with that. Absolutely buzzing. 43:17 apparently, according to Strava. I'll wait to see what the official time was. I think it was 9th place. I'm absolutely buzzing. So there we go. What a race. I've got nothing else to say. Delighted to start the year this way. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for following the training series. You're watching this happen and it means the world to me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for sticking around for this one, guys. I'm going to head home, drink my Coke, eat my salt and vinegar crisps, and I'll see you on the next one. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Until then.